Hey everybody, I'm Matt Patrick and welcome to the new project I'm working on called the Kairos Forum. When I look out into the state of our world and our church, I see a great need for a return of civil conversation about what our future is going to look like. And I hope that you will join me in this new venture. When I was a kid, I had these two placemats, the things you place out for kids so that they don't, get everything all over the table. Well, I had two of them, and one of them was a picture of all the United States presidents and the years of service that they had. And the other placemat was a map of the country, and it had all the states and each state's capital in it. And even when I wasn't eating, I would sneak into my kitchen, and we had this big kitchen island, and I would take out these placemats, and I would just sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce, and I would just stare at these placemats. And the reason I think I did this is because I was obsessed with who these men were and what these other places that I had never been to, what they were like. This is the earliest memory I have of where my love of history and politics was born. I love these subjects because I'm fascinated by stories. And as I grew older, if I wasn't outside riding my scooter, I was inside watching the History Channel. And I would watch documentary after another, show after show, day after day, absorbing this content. And this is when the History Channel was actually good and it wasn't just 24/7 reruns of Pawn Stars. Gilgamesh, King Tut, Augustus Caesar, Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan, Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, all of these were my heroes, and I wanted to know how these people shaped our... They're not my heroes. Attila the Hun's not my hero. He freaking genocidally killed people. It's just not true. I'm obsessed with stories and context. It's a deep part of who I am, and these stories have shaped me greatly. But many of us find ourselves impacted by stories because this is a simple truth. Stories have power. They have the power to inspire us. They have the power to convict us and change us and transform us. And then, when I was 16 years old, I encountered one person from history and one story in particular that changed my life more than any other. I grew up in the church, but it wasn't until I picked up my Bible and read the Gospel of Matthew from beginning to end in my room for the very first time that I encountered the story of Jesus Christ in a real way that began to transform me. And so I ended up dedicating my life to telling the story of God and of God's Son, Jesus Christ. And I really believe that this story, that this gospel story, has the power to change the world because stories have power. And now I find myself serving as a United Methodist pastor. So why this? Why the flannel? Why the mic and the lights and the camera and all that? Why the Kairos Forum? The fact is, our church hasn't always done the best job of showing how the story of Christ interacts with the stories from our past, our present, and our future. This channel and this series is going to seek to talk to my friends of faith in the Christian faith and my friends who don't choose any faith at all. I will seek to speak to my friends on the right side of the political spectrum and the left side of the political spectrum. And I will seek to challenge all of us to look at our world through a new lens by looking back at the lessons from history and the lessons from the Christian faith. To my friends on the right, I hope that you don't see me as just another young hippie college kid on the internet with an opinion. To my friends on the left, I hope that you don't see me as just another white guy with an opinion. I will share my opinions and do my best to speak gospel truth into modern situations, while also respecting ambiguity, nuance, and other perspectives. I named this channel Kairos Forum because I want it to be exactly that, a forum. I don't want this to be a project where I just scream angrily my opinions at you and you don't get a chance to respond or get a chance to interact with me. Kairos is a Greek word, and that's because the Greeks had these two concepts of time. You know the Greeks, like Socrates, or Socrates, as some people like to call him. They had these two concepts of time. One was Chronos time, which is the normal type of time that we think about, how it naturally progresses throughout the course of human history. But there's this other sense of time that they had called Kairos time. And specifically, Christian theology uses this concept of Kairos time as an appointed time of God's purposes. That was the idea, that there was these times in history where God was doing something different and something special in the world. And friends, I do believe that we are in one of those times. I'll be hopefully posting videos weekly on assorted topics. And I want to give a special thanks to my producer, Ethan Cooper, who has heard enough of these rants at 1 o'clock in the morning And so we decided to make these a reality. And so I will see you next week. Welcome to the Kairos Forum.